Roses are red, LaSalle is blue and gold, and talking about the Explorers winning things will never ever get old. Hello, I'm Siobhan Nolan.
And I'm Ethan Ferro. I'll be filling in for Tyler today, and I'll be trying my best to match his charisma. You're watching LaSalle TV's Home for Explorer Athletics, SportsLine.
Welcome to SportsLine. A lot of sports happened this past week, but not to worry, we've got all of your recaps coming up.
And later, senior cross-country champion Luke Zerakowski gave us some insight into his big wins at the A10 championships and how he's feeling heading into the NCAA championships next week.
But first, let's take a look at our SportsLine top 3.
Number 1, their season might be over, but 3 men's basketball players earned A10 postseason honors this week. Sophomore Sheriff Kenny was named Athletic 10's Sixth Man of the Year, becoming the first Explorer to earn the honor of the 25-year history of the award. Kenny is also the first LaSalle player to earn a major conference award since earning this name Most Improved during the 2011 to 2012 season. Freshman Jameer Brickus became the first Explorer since Gerald Wright in the 2012 to earn a place in the A10 All-Rookie team. Thanks to his immediate impact in the Explorers running his debut season, playing in all 25 games, along with leading the team in assists and steals, sophomore Christian Ray proved that you can be a ball player with brains, and as an accounting and a finance major, he completed his 3rd semester at LaSalle with a perfect 4.0 GPA, all while being one of the Explorers' most consistent and improved players this past season.
Number 2, women's basketball received A10 honors of their own, with junior Kayla Spurl and sophomore Claire Jacobs both landing spots on the A10's all-conference teams. Spurl earned a place in the all-conference second team after finishing second in the A10 with 17.8 points per game during league play. She also scored at least 10 points in all but one of her 13 conference games, including 9 games with over 15 and 5 with over 20 points. Jacobs finds herself on an all-conference team for the 2nd year in a row, making the all-conference 3rd team this year. She led the Explorers in points this season, averaging 16.3 points per game. Jacobs also ranked among the best in the league, finishing 4th in scoring and 3rd in three-pointers.
We've seen quite a few Explorers earn A10 honors this season, as senior lacrosse goalie Molly Lachlan joined the list last week. Lachlan has consistently put strong defense performances in the net, recording 17 saves and 26 shots in the LaSalle lacrosse game against Lehigh, giving her a .654 save percentage, along with trying to save her high career save tally.
So a lot of great things happening with A10 honors this week. We have our basketball players receiving really good conference nods. We have Sharif Kenny being named Sixth Man of the Year by the A10. So even though the basketball seasons didn't end the way that we wanted them to, it's still nice to see these individual honors be awarded to these players.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, like you said, I think there were a lot of great performances. Even though, didn't quite make it this season, there's always next season. I think we're going to probably see even better performances next season. So we have lots to look forward to. That's it for the top 3. Now let's see how we did in our team's recaps. Volleyball opened their home schedule with a match against George Mason. The first set was close, with the Explorers pulled away late to take it 25-20. LaSalle easily dominated the second set, going in at 11-2, running to close to the set and go up 2-0. The blue and gold would close out the match with a third set. George Mason would take a short-lived 6-4 lead before LaSalle would take over and win the set 25-22. Next up was the senior day against Rhode Island, which proved to be a much harder test for LaSalle. After a strong Ram start, the Explorers went 9-2 to take the lead after a 19-19 tie. LaSalle would pull away and take the set. Rhode Island answered back in the second set, dominating the frame and winning 25-16, tying the game 1-all. LaSalle would take the third set 27-25 before pulling the match away 25-23 to win it in the fourth set.
The women's swimming and diving team started their season with a meet against Stony Brook at Kirk Pool. Junior Ann Moser and sophomore Nina Kalaji took first and second respectively in the 1,000 free before swapping places in the 500 free. Junior Sarah Rossetto then took first in both the 200 free and the 200 medley. Freshmen Sam Boys and Ava Carter were victorious in their collegiate debut, with Boys winning the 53 and 100 free and Carter winning the 100 fly. The relay team of Fenn, Rossetto, Boys, and Carter wrapped up the meet with a victory in the 200 free. The Explorers won the meet 121-81.
Men's swimming and diving opened their season last Saturday with a meet at the NJIT at Kirk Pool. The Explorers dominated the event, earning 8 individual wins and 5 team wins. First, in the 200 melody, the 4-man team of seniors, Sunyak and Johnson, with sophomores Rosales and Burr, took first place. Sophomore Jake Kramer earned individual wins in the 100 free and the 500 free. In similar fashion, classmate Alex Carrara would take the 50 free and the 100 back. Not to be outdone by his underclassman junior, Zach Walbert also took the events in the 200 IM and the 100 fly. Overall, LaSalle would win the event 129-76.
The baseball team went up against Bucknell for a doubleheader on Saturday, and they came, they saw, and they conquered. In the first game, senior Colin Scanlon was locked in a pitching duel early on, leaving the game scoreless for the first 3 innings. However, the Explorers' bats were red hot in the fourth. Senior Tommy Toll brought home the first run with a bases-loaded single, followed by senior Jack Cuccinata getting hit by a pitch with bases loaded, giving LaSalle a 2-0 lead. Junior Tatum Levins kept the momentum going, knocking in a 2-run single to put the blue and gold up by 4. Grad student Ryan Guckin brought home a 5th run with a sacrifice fly, while junior Salvatore Montecchio and sophomore Dylan Maria both recorded RBI singles to put the Explorers up 7-0 at the end of the inning. That score would hold for the rest of the game, as Colin Scanlon didn't allow a hit or a walk after the first inning to secure a shutout in his first game of the season. In the second game of the day, LaSalle got on the board first, scoring 2 runs courtesy of Jack Cuccinata and Tatum Levins. Bucknell scored 3 in the fourth to take the lead, but a Tommy Toll RBI groundout brought home sophomore Nick DeVitro to narrow the deficit to 4-3. An RBI single from freshman Will Binder and an RBI groundout from senior Alphonse Sadala put the Explorers ahead, and after sophomore pitcher Jordan Morales secured his second save of the year, LaSalle secured their sweep with a 5-3 victory. LaSalle's luck seemed to run out, as their next doubleheader against the University of Delaware started off with the Blue Hens taking an early 3-0 lead. Nick DeVitro brought home sophomore Elijah Dickerson to put the Explorers within 2, but they saw themselves heading into the 9th inning down 7-1. Not going down without a fight, Will Binder and sophomore Connor Coolahan hit RBI singles to score junior Nick Hopkins and Nick DeVitro, while Jack Cuccinata recorded another run, but LaSalle would drop the first game 7-4. The next game started off equally as hard, as Delaware saw themselves up 5-0 after the first inning. A double from Connor Coolahan put the Explorers on the board, but the Blue Hens' bats were on fire, and LaSalle went into the 8th down 13-1. Freshman Emmanuel Rodriguez drew a walk with the bags full to score classmate Pat Toll, while sophomore John DiMucci brought Nick Hopkins on a fielder's choice, and Nick DeVitro scoring on a passed ball. Unfortunately, the comeback couldn't be completed, and the Explorers dropped their second game 14-4.
Women's tennis started their season against Mount St. Mary's. The Mount women took both double matchups, with the third decided by forfeit, and the singles were also swept by Mount St. Mary's. Then they traveled to New Jersey to take on Mountamouth, and saw the immense improvement in their second game this season. In doubles, junior Jasmine Wall and freshman Isaiah Leno fought to finish in the number 2 position, but narrowly lost their matchup 6-4. In singles, Wall put on an impressive performance, winning 6-2 in both of her sets. Freshman Lauren Landstrom came back from the first set loss to win the second set, but ultimately lost the third 6-2. Isa Liano narrowly lost the first set of her match, while senior Alexik Nikolic dropped her first set. Trebek Mom would ultimately take the second set at number 2 and number 3, along with collecting forfeit wins at number 5 and number 6.
Men's tennis began their final season for the Explorers as they opened up with a home match against Mount St. Mary's. They began the afternoon with the first of their 2 doubles victories, courtesy of Nassim Fingiro and Colin Lucius on the second court, and Brendan Cabin and Dylan Tolan in the third. This 2-1 advantage would be paired with the singles victories by Fingiro, Lucius, and Cabin to down the Mountain men 4-3. Then, the men would travel to NGIT to take on the Patriots. The The only victories of the day in this one would come courtesy of Cab in singles and Lucius and Fingiro in doubles, as LaSalle falls to .500 with a final score of 5-2.
The field hockey team opened their season with an away game against Drexel. The game started slow as both teams failed to score in the first half. Coming out of the break, Drexel would break scoreless tie and go up 1-0. The Dragons would seal the deal in the fourth quarter and top LaSalle 2-0. Field hockey then traveled for New Jersey for a matchup against Monmouth. LaSalle was stonewalled early as they failed to score on the penalty corner. Freshman Paige Doyle had the chance that ultimately blocked before Monmouth would score the first goal of the game. The Hawks wouldn't let up as they scored more goals in the first half to make it a 4-0 game. After the break, it was a stalemate as both teams went scoreless, resulting in the Explorer loss.
The men's soccer team welcomed Drexel to North Philly for their home opener, but the hospitality didn't last long as freshman Junior Nair continued his hot streak in front of the net, bagging a goal in the 4th minute of play on an assist from junior Amari Cottrell. Thanks to 2 stop shots from junior goalie Brett Werner, the Explorers went into halftime up 1-0. This scoreline wouldn't hold as junior Nigel Buckley opened his scoring account this season to put LaSalle up 2-0 in the 61st minute. The match got close on a 78th minute goal from Drexel, but Junior Nair showed off by completing his brace in the 83rd minute. Combined with Brett Werner's 5 saves, the Explorers collected their second consecutive win with a comfortable 3-1 victory.
The women's lacrosse team had a pair of non-conference games, first against Lehigh. Senior Bridget Ruski opened the score 5 minutes in, but Lehigh would take it before senior Amanda Akanabuchi took one back for the Explorers. A late Lehigh pushed back to 3 goals at the half, 5-3. The blue and gold began a comeback attempt through their seniors Akabuchi, Emily Johnson, and Bridget Ruski, as Ruski earned the hat trick. The comeback would fall short, however, as LaSalle lost to Lehigh 9-6. LaSalle would be in another nail-biter against the Big Five rivals Villanova. The Wildcats opened up their scoring with 3 goals in the first 5 minutes, and a power play goal by Ruski, followed by seniors Alyssa Hunger and Johnson, regained the lead for LaSalle 4-3. Villanova would break the 4-0 run, but then graduate student Gabby Burton would tie this game with just 40 seconds left in the half. LaSalle came out of the intermission and took the brief lead courtesy of Ruski. Less than a minute later, though, Villanova leveled the game. Senior Sarah Ellie and sophomore Maddie McKee would give the blue and gold an 8-6 advantage, but the Wildcats would go on to run the end of the contest in a 4-1 run and win 11-10.
So again, a lot of games to talk about. I want to start off with swimming and diving because they started off their season really strong. For the women's team, Sarah Rosetta picked up right where she left off last season. She's going strong. She's winning a bunch of team and individual events. And a theme that's going for the men's and women's is that their vets are putting on really strong performances. You know, the underclassmen are doing well too, but it's really the returning players that are getting the results this season so far.
100%, I agree with you. Yeah, those returning players are really doing a good job.
So swimming and diving off to a good start, like we expected. And then in baseball, a lot of doubleheaders. They're playing a lot of doubleheaders this season. So just the performances that they're putting in, the fact that they are scoring and getting on the board is great considering how exhausted they must be. I mean, I could not imagine doing that. Jack Cuccinata and Tatum Levins for baseball, standout players. We kind of expected that going in. But aside from hitting and offense, their pitching has also been really strong. Colin Scanlon getting the shutout, but also not allowing a hit or a run after the first inning is, I mean, that's amazing.
It's very, very impressive. Very impressive.
And then for men's soccer, Junior Nair. I mean, this kid has been on a hot streak. He's been scoring like nobody's business. I mean, he doesn't see defense. He literally just plows right through and he scores. Yeah, I mean, it's amazing. LaSalle's strong defense continues. They're getting the score lines, 0-1. So that's really strong too. Lacrosse, solid performance, fought the whole game, and a tough opponent, but they performed really well. Didn't go down easy, so a lot of admirable performances there. And now, Luke Yachu-Zierakowski takes us through winning the individual men's title and most outstanding performer at the A10 Championships and his preparation for the NCAA Championships in Stillwater. Take a look.
Hello, welcome back to On the Sidelines. I'm Siobhan Nolan, and I am here with men's cross country Luke Yachu-Zierakowski. got it that time.
Yeah.
So, Luke, first off, congratulations on your title at the A10 Championships and qualifying for the NCAA Cross Country Championships next week. Can you just take us through how that's felt for you? Because it was a very major accomplishment, so you must be feeling pretty good.
Yeah. For starters, thank you for having me and having the opportunity to interview with you. Obviously new to this, so if I mess up, my apologies ahead. But honestly, just a surreal experience. Friday, the different emotions were very different, very different than what I've ever had before, especially with racing, even though I've been in the sport for maybe a little bit too long. But just the nerves, and then that feeling of satisfying feeling of getting to the finish line at the end. It was pretty special. Obviously the team result wasn't exactly what we wanted to be. Coming off being sweeping champions last year, the second place stings a little bit, but we've been there before, and I think we know we know what we need to do when we move forward past that. We're a blue collar team, and we have the right attitude, so that's good.
And in last year's championship, you finished third individually. So what was your strategy going into Friday's race? And were there any surprises or unexpected things that you had to push through to get across that finish line?
Yeah, I think I'll start that question backwards, I guess. I think the most difficult part of Friday is that we unfortunately didn't get to race a non-championship season this year, just due to COVID and weather and everything like that. That made it extra difficult for everyone on our side. You kind of forget how much 5 miles of cross country is going to hurt. We got to that. I remember getting to that 4 mile mark in that race. And I was like, I'm done. These guys got me. I'm done. And I almost accepted the defeat there, but I think I just dug a little bit deeper somehow. So that was pretty cool. A little bit surprised about how amazing the Richmond team did. Hats off to them. They had probably one of the best performances they've had in a couple of years, and they really brought their A game, and nothing but credit to them. My message to them would be, we're coming for you next year. So that'll be good. Yeah.
Yeah.
So there was another part of that question that I forgot.
No, it's okay. But just speaking of that whole COVID thing, we've been asking pretty much all the athletes that we've interviewed here, it's a completely unprecedented season. There's so many variables, so much unpredictability. So, what role have your coaches and your teammates kind of been playing in supporting the team and just helping you guys navigate such a crazy and chaotic season?
Yeah, and I think for us, we're a three season sport. So when we all went home back in March, we were all getting ready for our first outdoor race, literally 3 days before that Thursday when everything changed. Mm-hmm. So that was kind of a shock to our team and the direction we were going. Looking through that entire summer, it was difficult at times to keep the motivation. Just knowing that we have such a, and a lot of the guys agreed to this, if not all of them agree to this, that, when there's a day that you really don't want to go out there, you're doing it. You're not just doing it for yourself, and you're doing it for your teammate. You're doing it for, that trophy. You're doing it for, bettering yourself, but not just bettering yourself, but bettering your teammates at the same time. And when you have that instilled, I think we got something really special. Flash forward to obviously the season postponement was interesting. I was fortunate enough to train on campus with Ibrahim Kadir, who just finished eighth, so he had a great race too. Yeah, and then me and him put some work in together. We saw Tonga Mabambo, who came fifth, a couple times. So together we all worked with one another last season a little bit, but indirectly we always kept the group chats going and stuff. And I think that really helped. And Tom obviously communicating with us. Coming onto campus was a very different experience. I think it was a little bit of a shock of, the restrictions and rules and all the testing, but I'm very happy and I think that's something to be very proud of as a team, is that we didn't have any positives all season. That was impressive. You know, we all kind of stayed in our bubble. We took this serious, you know, because the pandemic is serious,
Yeah.
but don't want to be messing up that for sure. And we're all privileged just to make it through the season. And, you know, wearing a mask is a small sacrifice to be here with your, you know, we have a big fraternity between the team, and to be here with your brothers, it's something special, and we all appreciated that.
Yeah, so, you know, you said you guys were all working very hard, you know, preparing, doing your best coming into the season. So what were your goals coming into this cross country season, and what is key to hitting those goals for you guys?
Yeah, so I think fundamentally our team, they're not very complicated tenants, but you know, they're very simple and they're very successful, and they prove it to be. We got two phrases, and the first one is chop wood and haul water. That's pretty much what every day is every day you got to go out and run, or even if it's a rest day, it's, you know, it's one way or another. If you're chopping wood and hauling water, you're setting yourself up for success. And that's something that really started to come into play my sophomore year. The last time our team got second, or the team got second, we you know, obviously devastated, but Coach Tom Peterson said it doesn't start next season, doesn't start next year, it starts now. And that's something that we really carried through, and it became part of the identity we have as a team. So that's really special. Arriving here, the goal obviously was to repeat as champions. Individually, I really wanted to get the individual title this year. I came third the previous year, and that was, you know, I can't say it stung because we did win as a team, and that was something that was probably my best experience I've had at LaSalle. Super special to win with, you know, guys that just wanted it just as much as I did, and it was just a good team culture. So we wanted to repeat. Unfortunately, we didn't do it. I'm not gonna, you know, lie to you and say it was, you know, it was all good, but I think there's a little bit of hurt, a little bit of regret, but you know, I think that care and that attitude, you know, second place is by no means a bad performance, but the fact that that was unacceptable to the guys on the team just shows that, you know, our identity here is to win and to be the best that we can be. And I think fairly quickly we've, you know, there's a right way and there's a wrong way to do it, and we've really, you know, you can only sulk in the second place for so long, but you know, we're already moving towards next year and next season, to be honest. Track for the other guys starts not this weekend, but the weekend after. So, yeah.
And speaking of winning, in addition to your individual men's title, you also won Most Outstanding Performer. How much does that mean to you to not only be recognized in a statistic sort of way, but also just for your performance as a runner?
Yeah, that's probably the coolest thing about Friday for me, was to be recognized as, you know, as such. The feeling is pretty undescribable. I Tom and I always are using the phrase, and he brought it into the team, and it's prove it. And that's you know, some of the first things that he said to me when I crossed the line was proved it. And I was like, yes, we did. Yes, we did prove it today. And that's something to accomplish. That was really special. The team is made up of, you know, all guys that go out there every day to try and prove it, and chop wood and haul water, simple like that, right? Really special moment to be recognized like that by the conference and the you know, the other coaches and the commission is really special, especially knowing that, you know, it's been a real big journey to get to this point. And it really meant a lot to, you know that came from where I was to here. So.
And you are only the fifth person in LaSalle men's cross country to achieve that honor. So, you know, having that achievement so early on in your collegiate career, I mean, do you have your sights set any higher on other goals that you can achieve before you graduate?
Yeah, I think everyone definitely comes and joins the team being like, I want to make the national championship, and unfortunately, only a certain amount of people get the privilege to compete at it, and that was one of the things I had going from day one into now, and I can't say it was easy, but the fact that it was, there were more hard days than easy days, and times where it honestly sucked. To now, it just made it so much more special. Looking past this, it's just a start. I'm very excited to run with some of the best athletes in the country. But my goal individually and I think this is important to me, is to make it known that LaSalle is going to be a team and a name that the other teams in the NCAA are going to have to get used to seeing, and they're going to have to get used to dealing with. I want to make an impact for other teams to be like, we got to watch out from this small school in North Philly, because we truly do work harder, and we got the attitude here for something special. And I want to get that first mark in history of this next generation under Coach Sean Peterson, to start something special, to become regular names at the national championship. Just to even be put as looking a little bit backwards, I guess, to be put with the guys like Sean Quigley, Todd Witzelben, Fredo Santana, and Nico Greco. It's a really cool feeling, because those guys they're like living legends at LaSalle. We got their pictures on the wall. We talk about them. They have the school records. It doesn't feel right that I get it, that I'm there with them, but I guess that's the direction we get to go. So that to me is very something I'm really thankful for, and that's really special.
And looking ahead to next week in the NCAA championships in Stillwater, not that we want to put too much pressure on you or psych you out or anything, but what are your thoughts right now, just going into that race and preparing to take on that bigger challenge?
Prove it. Simple like that. I got my goals. I got, a vision for this. I'm not one to lay out numbers or anything like that. I know where I want to be, and that's the underlying goal of all this. And I've been chopping wood and hauling water all season, so I think it's time to prove it at this level. I'm very privileged and excited to represent LaSalle and represent the L. I think we are really an amazing school here, and I'm just very fortunate to represent ourselves at this level, and I hope to do the school proud.
Yeah, so obviously we wish you all the best in Stillwater. We will all be rooting for you here at SportsLine. So thank you so much for joining us and giving us this interview, and I will be sending it back to the desk.
Appreciate it.
That just about wraps it up for us this week. If you can't make it out to see the Explorer Report, be sure to tune in next week for our coverage. Keep up with this weekend's other sporting events by visiting goexplorers.com or check out this week's edition of The Collegian.
Also, check us out on Facebook at facebook.com/LaSalleTV and on Twitter at SportsLineTV. We welcome you to send your thoughts and suggestions there. This week's poll is, who's a better male SportsLine host, me or Tyler?
For Isaiah and our entire SportsLine team, I'm Siobhan Nolan.
And I'm Ethan Ferro. Thanks for joining, and we'll see you at the game.